Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Kelly's Creative Dream Studios. And if you are joining us live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, May 12th, we are in the chat room right next door. I hope you'll drop in, say hello, let us know what you're up to. We've been working on cabinet cards as part of our monthly color challenge. And these are a couple that we've done so far. I've not, nobody has to do what I'm doing, just use the colors. And we are working with the colors of a Blushing Bride, Soft Pink, Cherry Cobbler, Pear Pizzazz, and So Saffron if you have Stampin' Up! Colors. Now, I've also been working with the pictures from Weathered Textures Etsy store. And this one is from the women photos. And so I've decided what I want to do. This is the picture that I'm working on the layout. I've got this from Pinterest, and I will link that down below as well. But I thought that would work beautiful, bringing in the colors with a wedding photo. So we're going to eliminate the boy in the tree, and we're just going to go more wedding stylish. And I decided what I wanted to do first was to clean my cheaters so I can see what I'm doing. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning to 64 degrees, and it's supposed to be cold and wet like this all day today. Good day for crafting. And I'm using these decal scissors from Provo Craft. I've had them forever. But I wanted to keep that decal edge look to this, but I wanted to get rid of that. I wanted to get rid of part of that cream and make it look like it came from out of somebody's photo album. So I'm just going to go around and decal cut this. I would like to have had a finer pair of decals, but this was the only one that I had. And I didn't want pinking shears. I didn't want a symmetrical zigzag. I just wanted it to look like it would have in the 1860s. Now, if you're not familiar with cabinet cards, I talked about these on Wednesday's video, that they were the way that pictures were displayed on a stiffer cardboard, and they had all the information such as the photographer. They were usually on embossed paper, and I'm not doing embossed paper, but let's see, I can tear that, it doesn't matter because, it's what it's supposed to be. Okay, and I am going to distress this just a little bit, and I'm using my soft suede ink pad, and I'm just going to go around the edges and catch those points on that decal. Now, if you get it a little dark, you can always come back with a soft cloth. If I get hold of my soft cloth, I use a piece of this terry cloth and just rub it a little bit, and it won't take it completely off, but it'll blend it in a little bit and give you a little bit more definition. Now, I've decided I do want to mount that on black. And it's going to be a very, very fine black, very small edge. And I keep losing my big blue ruler over here, so I'm just going to use my trimmer. Now, this photo is 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm going to cut this one at 3.5 by 5 1/4. And that's probably going to be, let's see, I said 3.5 by 5 1/4. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. Perfect. Okay, so I've got this. So let's go ahead and mount this down. I spent most of yesterday working on my work table, getting it decluttered. And I'll be showing it off in my blog posts here in the next few days. I took before and after photos. And so we're going to mount that on that black. Okay, and then we know. Okay, so that's done. Now, I need one of my cabinet card mats, which I'm using Stampin' Up! Soft Suede in a 5x7. And I want to be able to put it here, but we want these colors. Where my cheater sheet went that I was using. There it is. I want to bring in some of these colors, and I'm going to, instead of the ribbon, I found multiple types of lace here that I want to use. And instead of these flowers, I brought in some bigger pieces of vintage lace that I want to use. Decided that's too yellow. This one I'm not sure about. I think it's going to be too wide. But I love this one, and I also love the pearls. Now I know that I have 7 inches this way. So if I divide 7 inches, I can do 14 half-inch pieces. But I really want an odd number. So let's bring in our colors here. And I'm going to use this one. And I'm going to use this one. Now I could get into my scraps, but that would really take too long. So I'm going to bring in these 3 colors. And let's cut them at a 1/2 inch. 3/4 of an inch? Let's do 3/4 of an inch. And let's do a couple of those. As I said, I'm not going to get all the way through this, and I'm okay with that. I just wanted to come in and play and say hello and be able to be in the chat room and visit with you guys. If you've got any questions about this or any other project, if you have something you would like me to showcase, I'm up for that as well. I will tell you, I know what I wanted to tell you. If you have a blog or a website, we would love to have you join us on What's on Your Work Desk Wednesday. This is a blog hop that I have been a part of for several years, though it has been going consecutively for 727 weeks. We've had people come and go. We've lost some of our friends. We've had new ones join us. And that's what it's all about, is just making new friends and seeing what everybody else is up to. Now, I'm going to see where this is laying. And I can go about, I can cut these an inch strip. And I think that's going to give me enough. But all you have to do, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. We'd love to have you come join us. So if I lay those on there on an inch, and then I bring in this ribbon along that side. Maybe I need to go just a little bit wider. Then I can bring this down. That's going to be gorgeous. Okay, so let's stick that in the top of my thing here. And what did we cut these? I think I want to go just like 1/8 of an inch wider. So let's go 1 inch. If I go 1.25 inches, I'll have that little extra to tuck under, but I don't want to bring up too much dimension on that side. So I'm just going to cut several of these out of this strip. Pitch that one. And I'm just going to do a few of these. We are down to 6 minutes left. Basically, I'm going to do, when the timer goes off, I know I've got time to wrap up, and that's where we're at. What I don't get done today, I will finish up, and I will show you next Wednesday when we do our next cabinet card. But I want to continue to work on these and have a whole collection of these cabinet cards that I can just add to periodically. It's not going to be a completed journal. Okay, back to What's on Your Work Desk Wednesday. Basically, what we do is you post, do a blog post showing what is on your desk, what you're working on. It can be a disaster or a pristine desk. We don't care. And I am going to do one more thing. I have this paper here, and I want to set that black off. And all you do is show us what's on your desk, and then you take some time to go around and visit others that are linked up to Julia's blog, which is Stamping Ground. So we want to do this 4 by 6. And I'm going to cut this out of the center. And it gives you a chance to show off what you're doing. Also gives you a chance to get to know, make new friends, which is always nice. Majority of our, I'm going to say probably 3/4 of our members are from across the pond. And I've made some very good friends with this group overseas, and it's been nice. So I'm going to do this one. What did I say? Yeah, we're doing this one 4. 4 by 6. And I may come back and modify that. We'll see. And then we do this every Wednesday. You just write a blog post, post it to your blog, link up with Julia at Stamping Ground, and we just have fun. Okay, so I know where I'm going with this. So what I'm going to do is set this aside, and I'm going to start playing with my strips. And I think to do this, I'm going to do this really quick. It'll work faster this way. I have my Xyron sticker machine. Let's see. If I turn them sideways, I won't waste as much stickery-oo. Pull it just a little bit. Add a couple more of those. And you just pull slowly, and you don't waste near as much. I did a kids camp at Michael's when I taught at Michael's, and the kids loved this. We sold out of our sticker machines that day and wound up selling some of the 5-inch because it's all we had left. Most of the kids were brought in by their grandparents. Mine is sticking this morning, so I'm using a little bit more of my machine, of my sticker sheet than I normally would, partly because I'm trying to hurry. And it seems to be sticking, so it's really creating space. But this will work. Okay, let's call that a day. And I'm going to come back with, I've got a ruler here somewhere. I had a small ruler here somewhere. Let's, even my bone folder's vanished. So I'm just going to take and squeegee that on there. And if I flip it over and go this way, now if I wanted to take time, I could go around and edge each one of those. But I'm not going to do that because we are almost out of time for today. I'll have time to start putting this together. So let's start with, and I'm just going to lay them up here on the edge. Get as close to that edge as I can. And I think I want to come back with pink. I hear Honeybee over there chewing on his bone. He's not supposed to eat it all. And I can't stop him right now. I don't want to put that, with that, I think I know what I'm going to do. Hang on, I got an idea. Let's take a piece of Very Vanilla to break that up. Just if I put the red in there, the red up there against that green, it's going to look like Christmas in my mind. So let's take a couple of these, just like that. And I'm just going to do these really quick. And I can always come back and do them better later, if I can pick them up. Use my, okay, I like this much better. Then we can break that up, and it'll bring in a little bit of the cream, and then we'll just continue our pattern. Now, could I have done some, could I have done some? Yes, I could have. I could have done this as well. This might have been a better, even than the Very Vanilla. Let's see if we can pull that Very Vanilla off of there. Okay. And those were how wide? 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go here. Let's work with a sizable amount here. There's my timer. let's go this way. Let's add a little bit of pattern to this. Okay, so there's 3/4 of an inch, and we did those 1 1/4 inches. Now this is a little bit different in the thickness as opposed to the cardstock, but I think we'll be okay. I like bringing in the other color. Now, since you're watching, I would love to hear what you think. Should I have stuck with the Very Vanilla, or are you going to like the pattern over here? I think I'm going to like the pattern. Now we're going to come back with another one of the cherry cobbler, another one of the pink, and we might go over just a little bit. Oh, we need a green in there. Need a green in there. And see, it doesn't matter if this over here isn't even, because that's going to be hidden. See, and with that paper being thinner, even though they're both 3/4 of an inch, the paper looks a little narrower. And there we go. Now that bottom is going to get covered up with some lace, so I'm not worried about it. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of those so they don't stick to everything. Okay, we have this. Now we want to bring in our picture, so let's... Yeah. And I have a second one of these. As soon as this starts running out, when I'm done today, I will come back and I will fill that one, so that I always have a filled backup over here on my glue cart. And you also know that I normally don't use the double-sided adhesive, but, oh, it goes on here. But if it comes loose, I can always go ahead and I'm going to trim this off just a hair at the bottom, because it's just a little bit wider. But I can always come back and add regular glue if it starts coming apart on me, because this one is going to be mine to keep. Okay, so then we're going to lay that right up along there. Adhesive, unless it's a glue, will traditionally release with temperature changes. That's why I'm not a fan of glue stick as a permanent adhesive. Now I'm going to lay this right, and I want to raise it up, and I'll show you why here in a minute. I'm going to raise that right there. Now, I do want to use this on here. Whoops. But I'm going to have to bring out my other glue for this. Now, so since I'm not gluing it down today, I'm going to ask your opinion. Leave me a comment down below. Don't tell me in chat. Leave me a comment down below. Do we want to use this? Or do I want to use this? Tell me down in the description box below. And Wednesday, when I come back with our new weekly challenge piece, you will know which one was chosen, and I will have this cabinet card finished. Now, the other thing I thought about doing, I wanted to bring some softness in here. Both of these trims are a little on the heavy side, so I want to bring in some softness, and I should have done this before I glued this down. And that's the other advantage of doing the tape, is I can lift this up, and let's see, I need to come in right about here. Take that, and I'm going to trim this off right at those dots. Okay. And I am going to run tape right along there to stick this down to, just like this. Honeybee is going in search of a drink, so I'm betting he has finished his bone. I need a little bit less off of there, I think. Should have been doing this with my glasses on because I know that's not going to be straight, but it's going to be tucked under the photo, so I'm okay with that. But I want to make sure it's even on this side because I knew I wanted to use that on the bottom there. And then I'll toss this piece over in my trim jar where my scraps are at. Okay, now that we have that on there, now you can see. Are we going to bring this down the edge? Or are we going to bring the bead down the edge? Man, I really messed that up when I pulled that. Let's see if I can trim that off and get it to stop unraveling on me. If I use this one, it's definitely going to have the craft glue. Okay? So tell me, are we using this one or are we using this one? Bead or what do we want to call this? Bead or braided? Tell me down in the description box below if we are using beaded or braided on this, and I will be back here on Wednesday to show you what we've come up with. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Remember to check the links in the description box and to leave your comment in the comment section down below. Like, share, subscribe, and creative blessings.